Hi, I'm not using this. So you may have clicked this video because you're probably living with your parents, which is fine. Like, nobody's judging. I know you think the entire world is like, he lives with his mama? I mean, maybe if you're like in your 50s. Look at this economy. Like, listen, I don't blame you. But if you watch this video, then it means it's a sign that it's time for you to leave the nest. Okay. Now, I understand you might have people at home. Your mom is like, you ain't going nowhere. Your sister's like, you ain't going nowhere because, I don't know, maybe you give everybody rides. You're the person that carries in the groceries. It doesn't matter. It is your time to leave. I know you want to, and luckily you stumbled upon me because I moved so many times, a lot. And there has been times back in the day, maybe when I was like a teenager, involuntarily been moved. I've been kicked out. I moved out of an ex's house. I moved out of a college dorm. I moved from another apartment to the. So I know about this stuff. And no, you do not have to be rich. Your mentality does though, which brings me to my first tip. You have to believe. There's nothing more annoying than a person that's like, I wish I could move out, but I don't have the money and I can't do this, I can't do that. And you may be looking at me like, well, where's the money gonna come from? Out of my ass. And sometimes it does, okay? You have to believe, and what I mean by believe, I mean you have to like actually see yourself as someone that's moving out. It's not enough to wish upon a star like it's Disney Channel, but you have to literally go outside and look at apartments. I don't care if that stuff is bougie AF, but I would attain your realistic budget and just imagine yourself in these spaces. Imagine yourself living there because you have no reason not to, because other people are living in the place you want to live at unless you're looking at a house, particularly. Someone's lived in that house or someone's lived in the apartment you want to live at. That could be you. That is you, okay? The space that I'm living in now, which I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it's none of your business. Sorry if my eye. Listen, I have a lazy eye. Just, you're going to have to get over it. I'm sorry. Like, I have a lazy eye. I know it's not that cute. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, you have to like actually tour apartments. If you want to be a little bit unrealistic, great. It gives you a money goal because we're going to get into the next tip and you're probably wondering, why would I even tour an apartment if I can't even afford it? You need to stop thinking you're broke. I don't care. I don't care if you have $1 in your bank account. I don't care. You need to be grateful for that dollar. You need to look at everything you have and be like, this is what's going to lead me to my expansion so I can multiply that income. Also, you don't have to believe that's going to bring you happiness. Money is money. Money is not evil. It is not necessarily good or evil. It's metaphorical. It's a metaphorical energy exchange. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have a lot of reading and probably some spiritual, things to dive into. If you tour nice apartments or the place you want to live at, you're going to put yourself mentally in that space that says, I can live here too, honey. I can get that bread and I can do that. Okay, so just do those things. That's literally what I did. I didn't even have a job. And it's like when you put yourself in that space and you have that intention that I'm going to live here, I'm going to do this, you will naturally attract the circumstances, the money, the jobs, the people, the perfect landlord, whatever, to get you there. Be open. Maybe you've been already digital. I've already been doing apartment tours. I got denied here. They didn't like my credit. This happened, the landlord's racist, yada yada yada. Sometimes it's not meant for you. Maybe you're gonna fall in love. You're gonna move in with the love of your life. Maybe. Maybe you got denied for that apartment because you're meant to get a condo. You got denied for a house because I don't know why. That's the best. At mansion, not only be open because you can get better than what you think you can get, but be open. Because you don't know exactly what you want until you see it. Now, if you're going to apartment tours with the mentality of gotta have the exact same freaking apartment as these it girls on TikTok, then you're really selling yourself short because you might not like that type of apartment. Your neighbors might be assholes, okay? The walls might be thin. You walk in there and there's freaking ants everywhere. You need to ask questions. When you go on these apartment tours, I don't care because I've been to apartment tours for bougie apartments and the landlords were looking at me up and down, or the property managers, because a lot of these people own the buildings. I had one be so snobby to me, looking at me up and down like I couldn't afford it, and she does not know what I have in my bank account. She does not know what I do for a living. Don't let people intimidate you in that sense. But I ask the questions anyway. Here's some example questions, and this is gonna get tailored based on where you live, so please make sure you ask questions based on location. In terms of my location, which I wish I would have done this when I first moved out because I paid the price, some places ask for a 60-day vacant notice. Some places want you to double your deposit. So here's a question you could ask. How long do I have to, or how much in advance do I have to give a vacant notice? Or is there a winter move out? Or what credit score usually gets accepted in this complex? Or is it a 6-month or a year lease? Because these landlords lie. Yes, they do. Not the one that I have or where I live now, but my first apartment independently. The landlord lied to me, but I forgive him. Sorry, my eye's crooked. Because he was a drunk. And I can forgive him because he was really, really nice to me. I think he was like super drunk the day I moved out, so I don't know what he's going through. He had so much money. He was literally driving a Jaguar, but money doesn't buy happiness, like I already told you. Anyway, that's none of my business. I thought I was doing a year lease. He said verbally out of his mouth. The website said get a month free during a year lease, and that's what I did. But on the papers that I didn't read, it said 6 months. They can lie to you and get away with it because if you sign the fine print, it doesn't matter. You signed where it said 6 months. And I know I'm being sassy about it because I'm really irritated that had to happen to me. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, why would they do it? Anyway, to make a long story short, because of a simple mistake, I ended up having to pay rent for like 3 or 4 months for an apartment I wasn't even living at. I know that sounds super illegal, like you should have went to court. There was absolutely nothing I could have did about it. I looked at every possible avenue. There was nothing I could have done about that. So don't make my mistake and make sure you ask questions. Also, when you go to these apartment tours, go by yourself. Let me tell you something. Every single time anyone's ever made fun of my apartment bathroom or the elevators or this or whatever, all those people, they live with their mama. I'm gonna be honest, okay? I'm like, why are you making fun of where I live when you can't even pay your rent? Go by yourself because you don't want to be influenced about your living space based on other people because people are jealous, people are weird. It could also be a different type of, you know, like say you're going on a nice apartment tour, you don't like the apartment that much, but let's say you're trying to impress a girl and the girl's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, but it's out of your range, like your budget, or you just don't like it. You're gonna be more influenced to get it anyway, even though you don't really want it. So I would suggest you go by yourself, fill out the space, sleep on it, be like, do I see myself in this environment? Does it have a grocery store? I don't know, anything you might need. Now for the moving. Let's say you did all these steps and you're like, this is so stressful. How do I actually move? What I would do if you're moving from your parents' house, you're gonna have to, I would start over. If you really want that, like with your things, I mean, if you really want that experience of like building yourself up, building up how, like, or just learning how you take care of yourself, start with new furniture, start with new dishes, start with new everything. I don't care if you get your stuff from freaking Goodwill, it doesn't matter because eventually through time it will upgrade. Okay? And don't stress super hard about the rent or the E word. I have a lot of trauma from my younger years with that word, so I don't like even saying it. Starts with an E, ends with a D. Don't worry about that because naturally, if you are expanding yourself, even if you have to work 2 jobs to pay your rent, or you're gonna have to expand. Like if your rent is like $600 and you're like, holy crap, you already need to work on that anyway. You're gonna naturally adapt to your new environment. You're gonna have to naturally adapt to how much rent you have to pay. And also, here's another thing. Make sure you're in a nice, if you can, I would highly recommend going for a nicer area. That is so important. I don't care if you have to stay with your roommates or with your parents a little longer. Sorry, my hair. A little bit longer so you can make sure you stay somewhere. It doesn't have to be suburban, it does not have to be behind gated in whatever community. It needs to be somewhere that makes you feel okay, safe, a little bit inspired is a huge one. I've been in like situations where it's like I'm safe indoors, everything's fine, but then I go outside and there's like a dead rat on the sidewalk and I hear gunshots in the middle of the night and like bam, I'm depressed like 3 weeks later. Your environment makes a huge Huge difference. Now here comes some practical things. So some people are gonna think this is woohoo and I don't know what I'm talking about. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Let's say you're moving out of state and your parents or whoever you're with, or you just have some judgmental friends that don't think you're capable of doing that. You're just gonna have to separate yourself from those negative people. You're literally going to have to put it in your brain that I am the type of person that moves, that can live in nicer spaces, because you are. You wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't. And sometimes, let's say it's someone you love, like your mom's like, no, I don't want you to leave. Like, growing pains suck. Growing pains suck, okay? It just does. You know, I had to tell my folks back in my hometown, like, sorry guys, I'm moving on, you know? Like, and that wasn't the best received. I look crazy to them, but like, literally, no one. Sorry, I can't stand my neighbors. Make sure when you move, try to go for like a space where you can't hear people coming in and out of their apartments. That's what I'm doing. Y'all, I lost my train of thought. You're an individual, and just like this Tyler the Creator quote, he said, I forgot what it was, I might edit in, but you are the only person that knows what they're gonna be doing in the next 5 years.
They don't know my full potential. Y'all don't know what I'm gonna be doing in 3 years. I know what the fuck I'm gonna be doing in 3 years.
Longer than that, you are the only person. You are responsible for your future and your happiness. I know sometimes when you're a minor, it's like, oh crap, you know. But if you're an adult watching this, and a kid too, sometimes. I didn't have a lot of control when I was a teenager, I'll be real. You are above 18. Listen, in America, you have a lot more freedom than you think. And if you really just change your mindset about things, then you could do it. Also, here's another tidbit. I know everyone's watching this video like, this is so unrealistic. What about the cost of living? Yada, yada, yada. My job only pays $13 an hour. Listen to me, there's a will, there's a way. You will believe what you want to believe. If you're gonna sit here and say, I can't move, or I can't do this, I can't do this, because the cost of living is so high, which I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying you're gonna have to focus on positive things if you keep, plus being around people that are like not on a higher mentality, that are talking about the cost of eggs, is really not good for your mentality. So I would suggest you stay away from negative news outlets that say that it's hard for millennials, Gen Z to move and they'll never get a house, yada yada yada. Like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. Also, it's good to have a goal in mind. If you're a guy, think about the girls you could bring over. Not to be a douchebag, but to date. Maybe your future girl, I mean your girlfriend, she got kicked out of her best friend's house. Where's she gonna stay? She don't want to stay at your mama's house. I mean, maybe she does if you guys are friends, but I wouldn't want to do that. Keep that in mind. If you have an intention and a goal in mind for why you want to move out, outside of it looks cool, well, like, then you're gonna be less like inclined and motivated to do it unless you have like a reason. Like for me, it was like, I want to make YouTube videos. You know, I didn't want to have to like, you know, hide like I did and do it, only film certain times when I was dorming, and that wasn't fun. So just have a reason for this, okay? And I'm gonna wrap up this video because I have other things to do, and I really hope this helped. I know this wasn't too technical. If you have any questions, I can make a more technical video, but I mean, this is all you really need to know. I'm gonna leave. Bye. Also, you should subscribe to my page, but anyway, I'm gonna leave.